Hello friends, good morning. It's Shauna from Shauna Stitches and I am here because we have clue 4 of the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along Go Dynamo. And can you see there's 6 pages? Now of course, like I've said before, one page usually is stitch descriptions and some other stuff, but it looks like we have a lot to knit in this clue and I am excited for it. If you haven't been following along or you've forgotten, this is what our shawl looks like so far. There we go. And we have brioche, we've got some short row wedges, we have semicircles. Where are we going and which side are we picking up from? Those are the questions I want to know. If you haven't been following along, my colors are Knit Picks Stroll in the color Deep Waters, Supersoft, Holst Garn Supersoft in the color Damask, and a mohair that I don't know what it is. It's a peachy pink color. Those are my colors. And I do recall Stephen said that we are going to have another mohair dare today. So I'm just really excited to dive into this pattern and see exactly what we're doing next. I cannot believe this is our 4th Thursday already and our final one. It makes me kind of sad. I feel like I get so much knitting done in October, more than usual. And I kind of wish that all patterns could come out like in clues. It's so fun. But anyway, I will update you as soon as I have some progress to show and I know a little bit of what's going on in clue 4. All right, I'm all ready to go to work, but I thought I would give you a quick clue 4 update. It doesn't look like much, but check out what side we picked up on. Yes, we started from the semicircle, so we are working off of clue 1 now. And I know this doesn't look like a ton of progress, but let me tell you, I had finished this row already, only to come to the end of the row and not have my stitches exactly the way they were supposed to be. So I assumed I messed up at the beginning and I frogged this whole row. Got to the beginning, I was like, I didn't screw up. So I'm not really sure why. My stitch count was correct. I don't know why the end bit, because you're supposed to knit to the last 5 stitches and then you do a certain sequence. And then, of course, just like I-cord always, you slip the last 3. But it just didn't work out right. So when I come home from work today, I'm going to recount my stitches and figure out if I have 1 too many or 1 too few. And I'll just either decrease an extra stitch or pick up an extra stitch and it's all going to be fine. Just kind of a pain that I spent that time. So the section here doesn't look like much, but it's called Tiny Bubbles. Tiny Bobbles. And the reason I said Tiny Bubbles is because that is what keeps popping into my head, that really old song. I had to ask Alexa, but it's sung by Dawn Ho. So if you don't know what song I'm talking about, if you listen to it, it will be running through your head too. So Tiny Bobbles. And yeah, we're on our way. I still have no idea how big this part of the clue is going to be, but I did hear in the video that that's why I don't wear my glasses for this. I did hear in the video that there is a section 10, which is an an extra border. Like you don't have to have it, but after this section, then there would be 1 more. So of course I'll be adding that extra section and I cannot wait to find out what it's going to be like. So I'm off to work and I'm going to be dreaming about knitting all day long. Hopefully I can focus and I will talk to you when I have some baubles done. Hello, it is Thursday afternoon, about 4:10 p.m. and it is still October the 24th, the first day of clue 4. I think I forgot to say the day this morning. I was still half asleep, I think. So I have now finished the first repeat of the section called Tiny Baubles. And from what I know of a classic bauble, I would not say these are baubles. That being said, I really like the way they look. And I'm going to do this 2 more times. So I'm going to have 3 bauble stripes. And I'm very excited. They're a little bit slow going, but I like the effect. And I definitely will keep going. I mentioned this morning that I had to frog and re-knit that first row of the baubles. And I have no idea why, because my count ended up being right. I didn't have to fudge it at all. Maybe I forgot to slip one of the stitches. I don't know, but I guess I just needed to work that one twice because it worked out fine, which was a relief because, you know, I wanted my stitch count to be correct. I don't think I'll be able to show you really, and I've got a lot of yarn attached, but we are continuing to decrease up this slope. So that's what I know for now. I still don't know what's coming next. I have heard other people say they really like the look of the shawl overall, which doesn't surprise me because I like it already. So I don't know what's coming. I am excited and I just love the mystery of it. So I'm going to keep going with that. The spreadsheet is out. So if I was only doing section 9, which I don't know if that's just the baubles or if there's something else that's section 9, but if I was just doing that, it is 13,640 stitches. And in order to finish that in 7 days, I would need to knit 1,949 stitches per day. So far today, I've already knit 2,360, so I'm over that number, which is great. But if I want to do section 9 and 10, it is 28,445 stitches, and I would have to do 4,064 stitches a day. So, of course, we know I'm going to do section 10, and if I'm understanding correctly that we can just keep on knitting as long as we have yarn, I might even do more stitches than that. So, no idea how long this is going to take me, but I will probably update you next when I have another repeat of baubles done, or maybe when both repeats, which probably isn't going to be tonight. So I guess maybe I'll give you a quick little insight into where I end the day. I still have to make dinner and I work tomorrow, so I'll go to bed at a reasonable time, but I will let you know how the progress goes. I'm very interested to know, how are you liking the baubles? Like I said, they are slow going, but not as difficult as I thought they might be. So that was a pleasant surprise. I'll check back in with you soon. It is the end of my day, the first day of Clue 4, and here is what I've done so far. Yeah, that looks pretty cool from getting the whole kind of view of it, but up close, that's what it looks like. So I haven't completely completed this part of the clue, the tiny baubles, but I have finished the last row of the actual baubles. I just have 3 more rows of stockinette to do. I'm so happy that the rows are under 200, or not under 200, they're just about 200 stitches now. And I really don't know what's coming next, but I am loving it so far. I don't think I have anything else to say. Oh yes, one more thing. I knit about 4,614 stitches today, but I think it's a bit deceptive. I don't know for sure, but I think that the person who made the spreadsheet counted the baubles because you do a bunch of increases. I think that counted as extra stitches. And yes, it is extra stitches, but kind of worked as one. I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah, anyway, I don't know if I actually did that many stitches is what I'm trying to say. But it is above the 7-day completion average, so I will take it. Very excited to see what comes next. I should hopefully make it to that next section tomorrow morning, and I will show you what it is. It's something about slip stitch triangles. But beyond the name, I have no idea. I haven't looked at the pattern instructions. The only reason I know that is because The pattern said to cut the mohair but keep both the contrast and the main color attached. So I assume that we will be continuing to knit from here, but I don't know what slip stitch triangles look like, but I'll find out soon, and I will share that with you when I have more information. It's Friday, October 25th. I am so happy it's my last work day for the week. I got up early this morning to get a little bit extra done, and here is what we have so far. So I was able to finish the tiny baubles area, and now I've moved on to the slip stitch triangles, which I know you can't see a lot yet, but they are starting to form, and I think it's looking pretty cool so far. Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure, of course I am all tangled up in yarn here, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the direction of the shawl. Not positive, but it seems to be looking that way at this point. I knit just over 2,000 stitches this morning, so that's good. That's half of what I need to do in order to finish the clue in 7 days, and that's the whole huge clue. So I'm making good progress. I should get quite a bit done tonight, and then I really plan on focusing on it on the weekend, and I'd love to get it finished, but that probably seems not possible. So we'll see how far I get. Well, hello. It is now Saturday evening, about 5:30 p.m., and I have an update for you. Oh, it's not going to show very well. Yes, look at that. I have finished the slip stitch triangles, which looks so cool. You have the garter triangle and a slip stitch triangle. I just think it looks so neat. And I didn't know this until right now because I just read the pattern, but we are going to do another section of these 3 tiny bauble rows. And I hear my timer going off. That means I need to go check the oven. And I guess this will be a short update, but the next update should be after 3 more rows of tiny baubles. In case you were curious about what's for dinner, we're having swordfish steaks and broccoli and some sweet potatoes. I'm back. It's about 9:30 p.m. and I am ready to call it a night. As much as I want to keep knitting, I know I need to get some sleep. This is how much I got done. Oh my gosh, I do like how that looks. And I know even with the ring light, it is obviously nighttime and it still looks kind of dark, but I think you can see the gist of it. The rows are getting a lot shorter now, just over 100 stitches. And I have that 3rd tiny bauble row to go. I was tempted to keep doing it. It's just another 6 rows, but those bauble rows are kind of slow and I need to get to bed. It's already way past my bedtime. The reason I don't have a ton of progress is because we ended up having to go to Costco and run errands and get groceries. So a little less knitting time. But what did I want to say? There was something I wanted to tell you about this. I don't know. I am really enjoying knitting clue 4, which after clue 3 and not enjoying it, that is a nice surprise. The other thing I wanted to say, my deep water color. I just happened to rewatch my first podcast the other day, and that was over 8 years ago. And believe it or not, if you haven't watched my other clue videos or if you've forgotten, I mentioned that that deep waters color was an old color. It's so old, I showed it on my very first podcast ever. And if you recall, I said that I had previously knit it partially into something and then frogged it. And so, yes, it was still in shawl form, a partial shawl in that podcast. So that was just so funny. It makes me so happy that I'm using it up. And over 8 years later, it is found its home. And I could not be happier with how it looks in this. Literally, I guess it was just waiting for the perfect project. So funny that it was originally intended for a shawl and it's ending up in a shawl. I love it. It just wasn't the right one first. Other than that, I don't think I have anything much to add. I still don't know where this is going. I don't know. My hunch is that we're probably going to do another of these slip stitch triangles next, but I don't know that for sure. I haven't read ahead, and I am very curious to learn what this border situation is about. It's called wavy borders or something. I haven't read the pattern. All I know is the title name. I don't know anything other than that. And that's because it's on the spreadsheet. Speaking of spreadsheet, I knit 5,848 stitches today. So I am still above that threshold of finishing the final clue within 7 days. I still would like to get it finished this weekend, but I just don't think it's going to happen. We'll see. So again, I do think this is going to be the direction of the shawl, and it's a bit hard to see on the needles, but yeah, I think that's looking really good. Oh, I cannot wait to see it when it's all blocked and looking pretty. All right, I am rambling now because I need sleep, so I will talk to you tomorrow. Happy Saturday! It is October 26th and I have a very big update. And let me just tell you before I show you this, that as I was knitting it, I had no idea where this was going, which is really fun. So here we go, our grand reveal. Check that out. I truly had no idea that this was going to end up being a straight edge. I was still thinking that our what are these called? Slip stitch triangles? No, that was the last section. Wavy border? No, that's, I don't know. Whatever these were called, I really thought that was going to be the top of the shawl, even though it wasn't like a traditional top of the shawl. So I did not expect this. Like I said, even as I was knitting it, it didn't seem like, I thought we'd be picking up the border from this edge. And it looks so good. I love it. Very cool. It looks so graphic on the screen. I absolutely love that I used the mohair with these baubles. And I remember recording last night and saying there was something I wanted to tell you and I couldn't think of what it was. Well, the thing I wanted to tell you was I had mentioned that these tiny baubles were not like baubles I've knit before, and I generally do not like baubles. And I actually love these. Like, knitting them, I mentioned, was slow, but what I love about this version of a bauble, if that's what you want to call it, is that you don't have to worry about what side the bauble's going to go to. When I've knit baubles before, sometimes they can pop to the back of the fabric, and these, there's no chance of that happening. I actually think they look a bit more like little knots, but I guess if Stephen wants to call them a tiny bauble, then he can do that. So I just love this so much. Check that out. So next I get to pick up the border, and I'm telling you, obviously I have not been spoiled because I did not know that this was going to end up being the straight border. I'm just still so amazed. I was weaving in or doing the Kitchener stitch to the last 6 stitches and like spread it out, and suddenly it's just this straight edge. I'm like, how did that even happen? I don't know, but it's so cool. So yep, there's what it would look like if I was gonna stop here, but of course I'm not. And so that must mean only one thing, that wavy border will be picked up here. And all I know from looking at the spreadsheet is it's a lot of stitches, like 600 and some stitches. So I'm so curious to see what that's all about. And this is so cozy and warm. I really just kind of want to keep it on. It is cold here on the Oregon coast. We had our first high wind warning last night, and even though it's technically fall, we are in the full swings of what I consider to be winter. We just don't really have much of a fall. So I cannot wait for this to be done and I can cuddle up in it. But right now, I'm going to go do some more knitting. What I did want to tell you, my fancy spreadsheet is not calculating my total stitches done today correctly, so I can't give you that. But what I can tell you is that so far in the entire shawl, I have knit 72,835 stitches, and I don't know for a fact that the wavy border is something that I can make larger than it's written, but if I do it exactly as written, it's a total of 87,640 stitches. I'd be so curious to know how that compares to other years. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, let me scroll to the right section here. This is my Deep Waters color. This is going to be the deciding factor of exactly how large my border can be. And I have 56.6 grams left, so that's pretty good. I cannot believe I am still working off of the original 101 gram ball that I wound off. I have exactly 10 grams left. So my plan is to start working from the cone as soon as that's empty, just so that I don't have another random ball laying around. But that being said, I might get real tired of that real quick, and I might end up winding off a ball. But that's my thought process now, is that once the shawl's done, then the cone is just the cone, and that's what I have left. I do have 5.2 grams of mohair left, and I don't know for a fact, but I think we're done with the mohair. So I do have a plan for this. Actually, my Advent project is going to be the Resplendence shawl by Stephen West, and it's just all these stripes, but the stripes are divided by mohair. And there's a total of 64 stripes, so I'm going to end up repeating my Advent colors. But the one that I'm thinking of, it is I think gingerbread house theme Advent, and I just thought the pink would be really nice for mohair. Truly, I would love to have a neutral undyed color, but in the vein of wanting to use my stash, I'm going to use this, and I think it will be great. So yeah, we're gonna go knit, and when I know more about wavy border and what that means, I will let you know. I think the time has come that I finally have to spoil myself for this clue, and I'm pretty bummed about it. I started section 10. There is what it looks like so far. And let me show it to you this way. I don't have a lot yet. I just finished row 5. So the reason I say I have to spoil myself is the first 4 rows are in stockinette. That's the contrast color. And now I have added in my main color. And row 5 says right side, which it was. And it says to knit, which I did. And then row 6 also says right side, and it says to knit. So I'm sure I can use my own brain and my intelligence to know that it should say wrong side. But should it be knit or should it be purled? I don't know. I think it should be knit. I think it's going to be different than the stockinette stripes, but I don't know that for sure. And I put a question in the non-spoiler thread, and I tagged Stephen West, and I don't know her real name. I think her real name is Barbara, but I could be wrong. But her Ravelry name is Hip Hip Barba Knit. She's always one of his test knitters. And I asked Alexa what time it is in Amsterdam, and that was probably like a half hour ago. Anyway, it was after midnight, like 12:30 or so. So I don't think I'm getting an answer from Stephen anytime soon, and I don't want to quit working on my shawl. I'm going to guess that due to the fact that there are so many more people involved in the photo thread rather than the non-photo thread, I'm guessing someone has run into this issue already and probably has an answer. So I think I'm just going to have to go look. And even if no one has found the mistake yet or asked the question, gotten an answer, I can probably figure it out just by looking at the photos. So yes, I was hoping to at least get through the 3rd stripe, because looking ahead in the pattern, I see that we're going to do something more interesting on the 3rd stripe. It looks like there's increases and decreases. I don't know if it's going to be lacy, maybe. I'm not sure. And also the written portion of this part of the border, section 10, involves 6 total stripes, so 3 contrast and 3 main color. So I think I'm going to have more stripes than that, but I decided what I'm going to do is do every other contrast color stripe with mohair, because I told you when I was done with section 9 that I had a little bit left and I thought that was it. But it does actually reference that you can use it in this part of the border. So I have an extra ball. Actually, I have more than an extra ball. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I think also it recommends bind off in the contrast color, which for me is great because that's the big cone that I have. And I'll have more than enough whenever I run out of my main color. So I have weighed how much yarn I used on the stripes, or I'm going to weigh. I did for the first 4 rows here. It was 6.9 grams. That's of the Holst Garn Supersoft. So I know it will be more for the main color. Probably 10-ish is my guess, but I'm going to measure it and weigh it so that I know as my yarn gets less and less how much it will take approximately to do those 4 stripes or 4 rows. So anyway, that's my small little update. These 600 plus stitch rows are long. I don't mind it so much in the knitting, but the purling feels exceptionally long. And I don't really mind purling, but I'm definitely slower with it. So anyway, that's my update. I guess I'll come back. I'll come back later. I definitely want to get that 3rd stripe done because I feel like that will be the most interesting. Also, and that's going to have mohair, so it'll be really cool looking. And now that I'm thinking about it, I need to find my other mohair. So that's what I'm going to go do now. It's official. I've been spoiled. Also, I'm wearing this big jacket over my sweatshirt because it's cold here. So I did look at it. Actually, I am amazed. It doesn't seem that anyone else in the thread has commented on that discrepancy. At least I searched the words row 6 and I didn't see anything coming up. So I looked at the picture and it does appear that it should be knit so it should be as it's written. It just should say wrong side. So simple enough. That was kind of my assumption. I just didn't want to do that and then have it be wrong and regret that. And I definitely don't want to frog 600 plus stitches. I will cry. So anyway, I know what it looks like now. I'm not mad about it. I'm a little mad that I couldn't get to the 3rd stripe before seeing what the other ones look like, just because I felt like that was going to be kind of the last mystery. I couldn't visualize exactly what that was going to look like. And it is very pretty, so that's okay. I'm going to keep on knitting now. Remember how excited I was to get to the lacy different row? I'm less excited now. I got to the end. I did this much correct. And now I need to rip out, I can't even show it all. I need to rip out, ooh, almost lost stitches. I need to rip out this much because I screwed up. So that's going to take a while and I'm not excited about it at all. I definitely lost my place, thought I knew where I was, and it didn't work out at the end, so then I realized it. So that's frustrating. So I'm going to be doing that for the foreseeable future. Okay, I'm here with a wrap up for the end of the day on Saturday, October 26th, and I've made pretty good progress, I think. It's getting harder and harder to show it because it's just so huge. So there's where we are. I've only finished 3 of the 4 rows of the 3rd stripe. I did pick all that out. The 2nd attempt was success, so that was good. And I just couldn't bring myself to do that last row of that stripe because I am tired. In total, today I knit just under 10,000 stitches. It was 9,800 and something. And tomorrow, if I just do the size shawl that Stephen did, which would be 3 more stripes, it's another 8,000 stitches, and that I do not believe includes the I-cord bind off, which we know takes a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and call it now. There is no way I'm finishing this tomorrow, and in addition, I think I'm still going to do extra stripes. I don't know though. These things are getting long. and I'm getting impatient. So I don't know, I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to keep going, but it is what it is. For the main color stripe, I was right. It took just under 10 grams. I think it was 9.6 or 9.7, something like that. And I started using my cone. So I'm using this big old bucket bag that my husband got me. I set that on the floor under where I'm sitting, and the yarn just kind of feeds up off the cone, which is working really well, especially because I'm holding it with the mohair, and those are both in the bag. So that seems to be working pretty well and not getting too tangled, which can be a frustration. This is the last of that first ball of mohair, and I didn't bring it in with me, but I did find my other mohairs, and since it's kind of in a area where it's not the easiest to get to, I went ahead and grabbed 2 balls additionally for my Advent shawl that I was telling you about. So I shouldn't have to go hunting for that when Advent season gets here. And 1 more should be more than enough for this. So I'm going to call it a night. I still have to do the dishes and get the house cleaned up a little bit, but it's already like, well, I'm looking for my phone and I'm talking to my phone. So that tells you it's the end of the day. I'm tired. I think it's around 9:30 and it's late. I will not stay up this late tomorrow. So yeah, I definitely don't foresee getting another 9,000 stitches done. So I will talk to you tomorrow when I get some more stripes done. Hello, it is October 27th, Sunday, and it's about 4:15 p.m. and I finally have an update for you. It's a big one. There is what my border is looking like. I feel like, yeah, you get the gist of it. It's just so hard to show because it is really scrunched up on the needles. So last night, the last time I talked to you, I had 1 more row to go for this contrast color and mohair stripe. That was the lace stripe, which it's awfully hard to see. Take my word for it. There's some lacy eyelets there. So I finished that row, and then I completed 3 stripes, which is 4 rows per stripe. So I've finished 13 rows today. They are long, and you may or may not notice I have a whole bunch of markers. I have a marker every 30 stitches because I got real tired of having to tink back that lace row. It's real unfortunate that in the stripe sequence, you know, you have one eyelet row for every 8 rows. And I've done markers before in lace, you know, where you put 1 every repeat. And for this, I just didn't think I needed to, but I have had to frog back so many times that, yep, it was necessary. So, yeah, there's my holes. I think once I get it blocked and can show it off better, you'll really see it. But this is my main color, my Deep Waters, and I have 28 grams of this left. Each of my main color stripes is taking just shy of 10 grams, like 9 point something. So that means I can do 2 more of the Deep Water stripes, and then I will do 2 more of the contrast color stripes. The next one that I'm doing is going to be just like this one, where it has the contrast and the mohair, and then the last one will be, again, no mohair. So I think that's going to look pretty cool. It'll be evenly spaced, which I like, and I do have my mohair ready to go. So now that I have those markers in there, it's still not going to be a fast row, but it's definitely going to be so much easier than all the times before, because every time I come to a marker, I should be finishing the repeat. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. I definitely look forward to taking these markers out as soon as I've done the last lace row, but until then, they're going to stay there. What else to say? I don't know. It's getting big. I really cannot wait to see what it looks like, but yeah, right now it's staying on these needles. You know, when it's really bunched up, I do have some space still, but as you're knitting it, it just feels like there is not enough room on this 40-inch cable. So luckily the stitches are not increasing in number greatly. If you see this section right here, this set started with 3 stitches. Maybe you could say it started with 4, but either way, every other round it's increasing by 1, and those are the only increases, and it does that on both sides. So it's not a lot, but it is a lot. I forget, by the time I am to the final row, I think it's something like 630 stitches. No, I think it's more than that, 640 maybe. And those 4 extra rows that I'm going to add, those add approximately 10,000 stitches to the total stitch count, which is pretty insane. That being said, I've knit about 8,000 stitches today, and if I didn't have to go to work, I could probably get this done in, I would say, 2 more days. But tomorrow's Monday, starting the work week, and I just don't know how long it's going to take me to finish this. I mentioned that in Stephen's pattern I would be done right now, except for doing an I-cord bind off. And if you've ever done a long I-cord bind off, you know that that takes quite a bit of time. So there's still a lot to do in the shawl, which, you know, it is adding a lot to the shawl. However, it doesn't feel like it. For all the stitches I've knit, you know, what is that? Maybe, I don't know how many inches that is. Maybe it's 4 inches. Yeah, I'd say 4 inches of border. So another 2, maybe about 6 inches of border, and it's just a lot of stitches. Anyhow, I'm going to go back to knitting. I do have to make dinner and get to bed at a decent hour. I will check back in with you at the very end of the day just to show you where I left off. And from here on out, since it's going to continue to look about the same, unless I come across something real crazy and I do something weird to the shawl, I'm probably just going to check in once a day just to give you a little update on the progress for that day. So I will talk to you later. I'm back with my last update for Sunday, October 27th. And it doesn't look drastically different than the last time I showed you, but I did do 2 more rows. And I mentioned that I put markers in every 30 stitches, and it was a complete game changer. That row worked out seamlessly, no tinking back, no issues, I didn't lose my place. That was the way to go. So if you are doing that part of the pattern, I highly recommend putting a marker in every 30 stitches. It definitely made the world of difference. So it is not that late, but it is time for me to do the dishes, take a shower, and go to bed because I have to get up super early tomorrow. Progress on this is going to be slow, I already know. And if it still happens, I have excuse me, I have a meeting scheduled after work on Tuesday. I'll talk about that more later if it happens, but that's going to drastically cut into my knitting time. So from here on out, I will give you a daily update just to kind of let you see the progress I make each day. Until then, I will talk to you later. Hello, hello. I'm here with my end of the day, October 28th update. This is what my shawl is looking like now. I don't remember exactly where I was when I talked to you last. I think I had done the first row of that second mohair stripe there. So I finished, yes, that'd be right. I finished 7 rows today. So I did all of the Deep Waters stripe plus 3 of the mohair stripe there. So let's see, how many stripes do I have? 1, 2, I don't know. I can't count now. 8. Yes, I finished 8. That makes sense. I need to do 10. So I have, oh, man, I just finished this and I'm like already forgetting. I did the last of the eyelet rows. You just can't tell it's an eyelet row yet. And I will get to take these markers out in the next purl row that I do. So I have 7 rows left of this very long shawl, and then I can start the I-cord bind off. But it is confirmed I do have a after work meeting tomorrow. I normally get off work at 3, although I don't get home to knit at 3. And my meeting is scheduled for 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So Yeah, this morning I managed to get 3 rows done before I went to work. So if I can get another 3 rows done tomorrow, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to have this done. Maybe by Friday? That seems very optimistic, but I don't know. I just keep knitting along and eventually it will be done. I have 18 grams of Deep Waters left and there's only 1 stripe left. It's taking about 10 grams, so I have plenty of that. And of course I have more than enough of this cone. It feels like I've not made a dent at all. They come with about 500 grams on the cone. I wound off 100 and I don't know how much more I've used, but lots more to go there. And that is my Monday update. I will see you again tomorrow on Tuesday. I'm back. Despite how it might look, it is not Christmas. I just couldn't bear to put on real clothes after my extra long work meeting today, so I wanted to be comfy, and Christmas jammies were what was next in my pajama drawer. Today is actually Tuesday, October 29th. For some reason I wanted to say 28th, but I knew that wasn't right. I did manage to knit 6 rows today. I finished 3 this morning and 3 this evening. And that means I have just 1 more row to go until I start the I-cord bind off. So I'll be able to get that 1 row knit tomorrow morning. I should be able to start the bind off before I go to work. Ideally, I would love to say that I will get the bind off done tomorrow, but I cannot promise that because I don't know how long it's going to take. Here's a question for all of you really smart knitters out there because I can't figure it out. If it's an I-cord bind off where you knit 2 and then knit 2 through the back loop, so you're casting off 1 stitch each time, say you have 600 stitches total. Do you actually knit 900 stitches to cast, or no, 18? Is it 3 times? Do you times the amount of stitches by 3 to get how many stitches you actually knit? I'm just curious because it's not in the spreadsheet and I don't know. That's what seems obvious, but sometimes what's obvious is not what's correct. So very curious. If you know the answer to that, I would love to hear it. By then, obviously I'll be done, but I will know for future reference. I did a quick Google search and Google was not helpful, so I don't know. Anyway, it's getting real big. This is all I have left of my main color. By the time I'm done, it should be like 8 grams. Like I said, I have 1 more row to knit. So by tomorrow I will know exactly how much, but I know it's not enough for another stripe. Quite honestly, I don't know that I could bear to knit another stripe because I'd have to knit 2 more. So 1 more to go and the I-cord bind off, and soon it will all be done. I'm very excited to see the final thing, to see how big it is, to get it blocked, and to try it on. But that will have to come on another day. For now, I'm heading to bed and I will talk to you soon. Hello friends, happy hump day. It's Wednesday, October 30th, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had a bit of a rough day. However, there is a highlight to my day, and that is the fact that Go Dynamo is done. I am so excited to have this finished. Of course, I still have some ends to weave in. I literally just got done Kitchenering the I-cord bind off, which you can see right there. I held my mohair with the Damask, and it's beautiful and wavy and stripy, and I cannot wait to lay this out and get a picture. I'm going to get a picture to insert into the video here. But keep in mind, it is 8 o'clock at night, it is dark, and it's not going to show it in all its glory. But I am going to do that just so you kind of get the overall. That being said, I am going to end this video after I'm done talking to you here. And tomorrow, Thursday, the 31st, Halloween, I'm going to get my ends woven in. I'm going to wash this, lay it out to block, and I will make another video where I will show it in all its glory. It'll have a little bit of time to ruminate in my brain, and I will be able to come back and really go through the whole shawl with you. Now, you saw my real life emotions as I was doing it. But oftentimes when we see the final object and things have kind of settled down a little bit, we're not living in that moment, we have a little bit more perspective, and I will be able to give you a much clearer opinion on how I feel about the shawl now. That being said, spoiler alert, I am very happy with it. No issues there at all, but I think I might have some little bit more insight to add. Let's put it on this way. Oh yes, nice and big, and it's not even blocked yet, so it's just going to be even bigger. Real quick, let me give you some stats. So in total, I used 192.3 grams of this Knit Picks Stroll in Deep Waters, and I used 135.1 grams of Holst Garn Supersoft in the color Damask. And keep in mind, if it was 50-gram balls, which is how they normally come if you don't buy them on a cone, 3 would have been more than enough. And I'm pretty sure Stephen called for 4. So you'd have that whole extra cake that you wouldn't even touch. And my peach mohair, I used 34.4 grams, and I have plenty more in stash, so no worries, my resplendent shawl will not be harmed. In total, that was 361.8 grams of yarn, or 2,088 yards. So that was a great stash buster. This all came out of my stash. Not one bit did I buy for this shawl, and I am very happy about that. If you do not normally watch my channel, I have a series called State of the Stash, and in that series I track my yarn that comes in and out of my stash, so this is a big win for me and it makes me very happy. And I guess that was a spoiler alert for anyone who's going to watch the next State of the Stash, but it's not the only thing I'm going to talk about. So yeah, I think that's it. When I do my final video, I've been using Knit Companion the whole time, and that keeps track of how many hours, minutes, all the good things that I work on my shawl. As long as the screen is open, the counter is ticking away, and I was pretty good at keeping track of that. So when I come back and I have the final blocked version, I will let you know how many hours that took, because I have a feeling it was a lot. This was a very big shawl, used a lot of yardage. Off the top of my head, I cannot tell you at this moment if this used more yardage or about the same as other MKALs, but maybe I will go through that for the next video too. So for tonight, I am signing off and closing out this video, but I will talk to you all soon. Hopefully this weekend, that's my goal, that it will be completely dry and I can give you guys the final look. So stay tuned for that. My tongue is no longer working because it's bedtime. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.